Why Azure Data Engineer? Role of Azure Data Engineer. Difference between Azure Data Engineer, Data Scientist, Data Analyst. Azure Data Engineering products or services. Job market of Azure Data Engineering. Right. Just I'll take 5 minutes what we have discussed in the last session. Right. So if we compare with the on-premises, if you are comparing with cloud, right? So the advantages of cloud over this on-premises.
Sorry to disturb you, Amit here. Is this demo lecture as like first one or
So yesterday just we had some introductory session. Yesterday we had introductory session, right? I was just briefing about why Azure Data Engineer. So just I'll brief you what was discussed in the last class. Just I'll take 5 minutes. Cloud is majorly utilized for storing, analyzing, and delivering data in various forms. Cloud, okay, data engineers with the help of these cloud services, they work on the data, make it structured and useful, So data engineers responsible for smooth data flow from the source to destination. Data engineers, right, they are responsible for smooth data flow from the source to destination, right? Yes. Advantage of cloud over the on-premises, advantage of cloud over the on-premises. We need to set up our own hardware infrastructure. We need to set up our own hardware infrastructure. See, the on-premises, on top of that OS installation, purchasing of database license, installation of database server, designing a database objects. To maintain all this, again, we require separate teams, right? To maintain all these separate teams, we require separate teams like a hardware team. We require hardware team, operating system team, networking team, security team, database administrators, But in the case of cloud, here, no need to maintain all this, no need to maintain any infrastructure, no need of any licenses. Here, everything in the cloud. So data engineer is mainly responsible like for preparing the data. He prepares the data, cleansing or filtering the data, transforming data and processing data. Everything is going to deal with the data, right? That is data management, data that is data storage and data processing. On the other side, data scientist is strategizes for the future, right? Analyze the data, identify the key patterns, recommendations for the future. So data scientists mainly like data analysis, data predictions, data classifications, data clustering, and data and recommendations. On the other side, data analyst summarizes the past, analyze the data, summarizes the data of the past, and visualizing the data. So data engineers does all the groundwork for data scientist and analyst. So more than 70% of data analysis work is done by data engineers. So data engineering involves what are the sources of the data, what is the format of data, and how to transform the data, and what is the destination of the data, that is the target, right? Yes. Why Azure Data Engineer in demand, right? Why Azure Data Engineer is in demand today? Role of Azure Data Engineer, right? If I talk about this Azure Data Engineer. So generally the data engineer, he creates data warehouse for the organization. Data engineer, right, is going to create data warehouse for the organization, where data warehouse is a storage of structured and queryable data. It contains data from various sources, such as the new users, and this existing users, and the custom. And data engineer structures this data, stores it, monitors it in the data warehouse. And the data engineers keep constantly processing the data, analyzing and monitoring the data. He creates data pipelines through which the data is integrated with all the stages, right? Right. Role of Azure Data Engineer. Role of Azure Data Engineer. designing the entire data flow architecture, designing the entire data flow architecture, creating a data warehouse, creating a data warehouse, right? Yes, ETL. Designing the entire data flow architecture, creating a data warehouse. So as creating data warehouse, right? Yes, for storage of analytical data. So it makes easy for querying the data and analysis, right? So ETL, extract, transform, load. This is one of the key. This is one of the key tasks of data engineers. They need to keep on extracting the data from multiple sources, transforming it into structured data, load it into company's storage service for further business evaluations by the data scientist. And data monitoring. Data monitoring, right? Data engineers make sure that the ETL is performed in a proper, that is in a proper way, right? That is the data should be available everywhere and anywhere where it's required, right? Yes. And data security. Data security, right? It's also major responsibility, right? Major responsibility of Azure data engineer, right? So they need to keep the data secure at each step of the process without any data leaks or data exposures. Yes. Collaboration and communication. They have to constantly communicate with the business team and also they need to communicate with the data scientist to deliver the data as per the requirement. They need to have some analytical skills to perform the analysis and automation. Certain things need to be automated. What is Azure Data Engineering products and services? Azure SQL, Azure Data Lake, Azure Synapse, Azure Data Factory, Azure Databricks, Azure Cosmos, Azure Streaming, and Azure Key Vault. Yes, you can check it here. Azure SQL, it's a cloud RDBMS database of Microsoft. In Azure, it is for OLTP operation. Azure Data Lake, the kind of file system, that to distributed file system with unlimited data storage in cloud, that is Azure Data Lake. Here, it is a repository of large varieties of structured, unstructured, and semi-structured data. So if we talk every data lake provides some benefits. Every data lake provides some benefits. Unlimited data storage, yes, unlimited data storage, right? The first one supports all varieties of data, yes, supports all varieties of data. Supports all varieties of data. Structured data, semi-structured data, and unstructured data. Unstructured data. Yes. Structured data, semi-structured, and unstructured. Structured data means like data organized in the form of rows and columns, such as like DB tables, Excel files. Semi-structured data, right, which is not fully structured, which is not fully unstructured, like XML files, JSON files, and unstructured data like chart messages, images, articles, images, video. Here data will be in the form of files in Azure Data Lake, right? In Azure Data Lake, data will be in the form of files. If it is data is in the form of files, we cannot maintain relationship between the files, but we can maintain relationship between the tables using primary key or foreign key. But here in the files, we cannot maintain relationship, right? So for that, so I'm expecting a cloud or DBMS, that too used for data warehouse, that too I'm expecting parallel processing, that too I'm expecting parallel processing. That is nothing but Azure Synapse Analytics, Now check this Azure Synapse Analytics, right? So I am expecting data, a cloud or DBMS, that too for data warehouse, that too I'm expecting parallel processing. There is nothing but Azure Synapse Analytics. Azure Synapse for data warehouse operations, for big data operations, for analytics, for batch applications, for batch processing. I was saying like online applications, batch applications. Make a single transaction, online transaction. User interactive application, user should give the input. But batch applications, user is nowhere required. Yes, user is nowhere required for batch processing and for parallel processing, right? Yes. Here we have a database called Azure Synapse SQL Pool DB. Simply we say like Synapse DB. Simply we are go to database Azure Synapse SQL Pool DB, Synapse DB we say, right? Yes. So what is Synapse DB? Yes. Cloud data warehouse of Azure. Okay, fine. Now Azure Data Factory. In a simple way, I said it's a cloud-based ETL, or it's a cloud ETL or cloud-based ETL, right? Of Microsoft in Azure. For example, OLTP systems, online transactional processing, OLTP system. Example of OLTP systems, right? In the case of Azure Cloud, Azure SQL is there. And some other examples like on-premises like Oracle, SQL Server, MySQL, MongoDB, are the examples of this. And if you take OLTP systems are here and data warehouse systems. Data warehouse stores historical data. So here examples of data warehouse like Azure Synapse. And here we have got so many other like Teradata. If you heard about Teradata, a specialized database used for data warehouse. Netija, it's one more data warehouse used for, it's another database used for data warehouse, right? And Vertica. Azure SQL, Teradata, Netija, Vertica. Where ADF from? ADF doesn't come. See here, ADF doesn't come in OLTP. ADF doesn't come in data warehouse. Between these two, we see ADF. ADF is a integration service between these two. ADF, I can say ADF is a integration service between OLTP systems and data warehouse systems. Data ingestion service, data integration service. Generally, all transactions, whatever you do, all transactions they are captured at OLTP systems. Here, generally, all the transactions are captured in OLTP systems. How to bring these transactions? How to bring these transactions into warehouse system? We have ETL. We have ETL by using ETL tools. Like Informatica, Data Stage, Talent. All these are on-premise ETL tools. But I need a ETL on cloud. That is what? ADF. Using ADF, we can connect with anything, right? Cloud databases, non-cloud databases, NoSQL databases, right? Yes. Here it is ETL. Here it is ETL. But our working style. Here it is ETL, but our working style is ELT. What our working style is ELT, extract, load, transform. ETL, ETL for small volumes of data in GBs. ETL for small values, ELT for huge volumes of data. For huge volumes of data, right? Yes. For huge volumes, ETL is bad. Yes. Now, next is what? Azure Databricks. Azure Databricks. What is Databricks? What is Databricks? Databricks nothing but provides a Spark cluster in cloud. Spark cluster in cloud. What do you mean by a cluster? Group of systems which are interconnected. Group of systems. Group of systems which are interconnected. And what is Spark here? Spark, what is Spark? It is a very high speed. It is a very high speed execution model to process huge data. It is a very high speed execution model to process huge data with high speed. Okay. Spark features. Later I discuss more on this, but overview on this. Spark features. First one is in-memory computation. First is in-memory computation means storing in the RAM level, memory level, and processing within the memory level. That's why we see very high speed for Spark. And one more thing is for Spark, supports massive parallel process, supports MPP. Supports MPP, massive parallel process. We talk about this. We're discussing about PySpark, right? PySpark or Spark, 100 times faster. 100 times faster than normal disk processing. 100 times, right? Spark or the PySpark, what I say, right? It is 100 times faster than normal disk processing. Yahoo has conducted a test. If you check, Yahoo has conducted a test to check the speed of different things, right? It has taken a table of 1024 columns, table of 100 TB consisting of 1024 columns. Task is sorting. Sorting based on 16 columns. Yeah, sorting based on 16 columns. What is the time taken, right? Yes. Oracle has taken nearly 3.5 days to process this. MySQL. One more specialized database called Teradata, which can handle TBs of data, has just taken 4.5 hours. And yes, one more specialized database called Netija, right? Yes, that's taken 3 hours. So if we talk about databases, they have taken hours of time. See this days of time, and specialized databases, they have got hours of time. Finally, there was a component called Hadoop. This Hadoop brought a revolution like a distributed computation, this cluster computing, right? Hadoop has taken just has just taken 1 point. But Spark is 100 times faster than Hadoop. Hadoop has got very high speed. It has taken minutes of time, but the other things they have taken hours. So Spark is 100 times faster than Hadoop. So this is what the very high speed. Yes. So if you talk like in a Azure SQL, like if Cloud RDBMS, right? It is only for OLTP operations, not for data warehouse operations. Next, Azure Data Lake, it's a kind of distributed file system with unlimited data storage. Synapse Analytics for data warehouse operations, big data operations. One second. For parallel processing, for batch processing, for all these things. And ADF is an integration service between the OLTP systems, and the data warehouse systems. Azure Database, it's a Spark-based data analytics platform. So if you talk in ADF, talk about the previous version and this version, lot of changes you see. We talk about this ADF version 1. ADF versions. ADF version 1, ADF version 2. ADF version 1. It is used to perform EL only. It is used to perform EL only, but not ADL. In ADF version 1, version 2, right? ADF version 1, right? So how the data is stored in the memory format. See how the data is stored. Yes, we have got many storage systems here, like Azure Data Lake storage. Azure, most of the time, Azure Data Lake will be using for any type of file formats. From the Azure Data Lake, it's a kind of file system. Azure SQL, if you want it stored in the form of tables, you go for Azure SQL. Like file format, go for Azure Data Lake. Yes. If it is like NoSQL, like we have got Cosmos DB, and for streaming, right? We have got streaming component, depending upon the data, right? What type of data. So here in ADF version 1, we should have a lot of prerequisites. Means not only, but in version 2, there is no prerequisites, nothing. But in ADF version 1, here no built-in transformations, I said. So to perform transformations, some additional services are required. Some additional services are required. First one, ADLA, Azure Data Lake Analytics. Azure Data Lake. Here analytics are done. Here analytics are done by USQL. USQL, right? Unified Structured Query Language. USQL, right? Yes. Unified Structured Query Language. It is not equivalent to basic SQL. It is different. Now we need to have the knowledge about HD insights. I'm talking about version 1. In version 2, there is no prerequisites. In version 1, there were many prerequisites. HD insights. Here we have a data flow language called Apache Pig. Here we have a data flow language called Apache Pig. Here, data flows are written and transformations are performed using this pig scripts, writing pig. Azure functions. These are very complex to implement. Also, you should have knowledge on this Azure Databricks. And also like stored procedures. Here, to perform transformations. To perform transformations. Here to perform transformations, you should be a developer first. That too should have expertise. That too you should have expertise in scripting like USQL scripts, second pig scripts, Azure Databricks, stored procedure, Azure functions. Pig scripts by Hadoop developer, generally by Hadoop developer. Azure Databricks, stored procedures, Azure functions by .NET developer. That's why I said you should already be in it. You should be a developer first, and that too should be expertise in all these things. So this is problem. This is the problem with ADF version 1. So afterwards, Microsoft recognized. Yes. Once again, can anyone please confirm whether my voice is clear? Anyone? Yes. Anyone please try to confirm?
Yes, audible.
Yeah, fine, thank you. So afterwards, Microsoft recognized this problem and decided to make a ETL tool, with zero coding, That's why they launched a new version. ADF version 2. That's why they launched a new version, ADF version 2. Previously, if you have idea about previously, if it Informatica, 80% drag and drop, you see there. 20% writing SQL scripts. But in ADF version 2, but in ADF version 2, %, drag and drop. No need to write anything, right? Any 100% drag and drop. Okay, fine. In ADF version 2, we got a new features. Data flows. Second, Power Query. Just we like Power BI. We have got the feature. Same way here we have got the Power Query option. Yes, we have new features such as data flows and Power Query. I'm saying like everything drag and drop, 100% drag and drop. There is no, we don't need to write any. That's why we call it as zero coding ETL tool, right? Zero coding ETL tool. It's ADF. As a developer, you will be developing data flows. When you run the data flows, right? They get executed internally, right? Fine. So this recording ADF version 1. What previously we have got a lot of prerequisites that you need to have, but in ADF version 2 was launched. It's very simple. It was made very simple. Zero coding. No need to write any code, right? So that is ADF and Databricks. So I was just briefing you, right? Yes, 1 second. So this is what the speed of Spark. Already Hadoop has got very high speed. Spark is 100 times faster than Hadoop or the normal disk processing. So yes, as part of the course, I said I'll be discussing this Azure Data Engineer, the total package, which consists of this Azure Data Factory in brief. Yes, Azure Data Bricks, PySpark, and Synapse Analytics. These 4 things I'll be discussing in brief. Azure Data Factory, Azure Databricks, the PySpark, entire PySpark will be included in this, and Synapse Analytics, right? And apart from this, you'll be getting knowledge on this Azure SQL, data lake, and streaming. So just to have a look on this course content, in brief, we'll be discussing about all these services overview on it. Next, Azure Data Factory, top level components, pipelines, activities, data sets, triggers, pipeline, organizing pipeline, debugging pipeline, publishing pipeline, linker service for different storage rights, data sets, creating a data set for a binary file, CSV, Excel, JSON, ORC, Parquet, XML, activities, different types of activities, copy data, filter for each, get metadata, wait activity, lookup activity. In this way, many activities, triggers, schedule based, tumbling window based, storage events based, right? The types of trigger, integration runtime, self-hosted, auto resolve integrated runtime. Yes. So managed private endpoints, data flows, different types of transformations, nearly around 50 exercises I'll be discussing in brief, right? Yes. And Azure Databricks, some prerequisites required for this Azure Databricks. Before I go with this Azure Databricks, I'll be giving knowledge on this big data, Hadoop, Spark, some cloud computing before we go with getting Azure Databricks service. Yes. Displaying cluster, setting cluster, terminating cluster, deleting a cluster, cluster logs, cluster access control, types of cluster, Databricks pools, Databricks, yes, Databricks utilities, Databricks integration with the data storage, Azure SQL, Synapse, and multiple file formats, handling multiple file formats, CSV, JSON, Parquet, Excel, XML, ORC files. Databricks batch processing using this PySpark, data transformation, incremental data load aggregations, window functions, unions operations, and streaming API. Streaming using PySpark API, handling bad records, streaming data into this data lake, loading the data into tables. Databricks Lakehouse Delta Lake, right? And what is Delta Lake? Features of Delta Lake, how to create Delta Lake, how to perform DML operations, handling SCD type 1, type 2, workflows in Databricks, right? Introduction to workflows, creating and managing Databricks jobs, scheduling Databricks jobs, monitor Databricks jobs, right? Azure Synapse also. And just check this in brief with this and PySpark also. Everything with PySpark. Yes. Okay. So offerings from my side, you'll be getting each and every session video, right? Each and every session is recorded. You will be getting the recorded video of each and every session, soft copy of this class notes and assignments and tasks. So tomorrow the link will be changing. You are supposed to get enrolled for getting the new link. You can see in the chart, right? A big message is given by this online team. So the course content, if you have missed the yesterday session, the yesterday demo video, right? You link their contact details, payment details, all these things they have provided, right? So you'll be getting each and every session video, soft copy of the class notes, assignments and tasks, and a WhatsApp group for technical discussions. If you get any error, you can take snap of it and post in the group. Anybody will be answering. I'll be answering. Live interactive hands-on. Just now someone asked, right? Yes, they are hands-on sessions. Sushant, right? Yes. To learn that. So yes, hands-on live interactive hands-on sessions, right? Tasks, most of the students, right? Even you'll be doing the task along with me parallelly, right? Pipeline creations, notebook creations, so that you'll understand much better. Doing that along with me parallelly, right? Hands-on. If you get any error, you will share the screen, right? To check that error. Yes. So you'll be getting live interactive hands-on sessions, resumes and interview questions. And let me make it clear about the timings of this. First 1 week it will be at 7 p.m. it starts. Later, after that 1 week, it will start at 6 p.m., right? Up to the end of the course. So yes, Manesh Nayak, right? Yes, to learn data engineering, how much prior knowledge is required? As I'm, yes. So here, only thing is the prerequisites only like basic Python. Even I'll be just giving you the syntaxes before I go with that. Basic Python and basic SQL knowledge is required. Is there any? So lot of errors, yes. Be with you saying, right? Yes. During the course, a lot of errors I'll be showing you. So many compatible errors will be, you'll be getting some errors. So I'll be showing you the errors also, right? So that how to rectify the errors, how the solution, right? Yeah. Any other queries, right? So tomorrow the link will be changed. You are supposed to get enrolled to getting the new link to your mail. And the people, if see after paying the fees, don't forget to share the screenshot of your payment to the mail ID that is provided, right? Durgasoft online training @gmail.com. They were given a note there. So people, if they forget, you won't get that link. So check it. You're forwarding the screenshot of your payment to that mail ID. Yes, Deepthi Ranjan Saho, right? So you have got Azure subscription, right? I'll be showing you, you can get that free accounts and you can work on it, but I'll be showing you on the paid, the premium account. Mine is a premium account. I'll be showing you on that where all the features you'll be able to see. So I'll say you how to get a free subscription for Azure, how to get the free subscription to working with a practical port, and also once that license has elapsed, right? Later off again with minimum charges, with very, very, very minimum charges, how we can work and what we need to delete for that purpose. Yes, Suresh, right? You can go with the Suresh Parkway, right? Yes. You'll be getting a Azure free subscription, right? You can just take that and work on that Azure free subscription, right? So it's one of the challenging, what is that? So if you talk about this Azure data engineering, right? And especially the PySpark has got a great demand in today's market, right? Yes, student industry, where it has got, it's one of the beaming technology, right? PySpark and this data engineering. Yes. If you see the salary package also, if you see the salary package also, 1.5 times more than other technologies, right? You can just compare the salary packages with other technologies. You'll see like huge packages for this Azure data engineers. Mhm. Even like a lot of companies are registering, they are migrating to Azure. So in turn, they are increasing number of job opportunities for Azure data engineers constantly. So major companies are trusting and adopting this Azure, and they regularly need of professionals who can work on Azure and handle this huge data. Even if you talk about the pay scales, right? Data engineers has got the highest average salary as closely as data scientists. It's even the top two highest paying jobs, so data engineers and data scientists, right? So yes, even many companies, right? Yes, like Facebook, Intel, Microsoft, Amazon, all this, they're interesting in hiring this Azure data engineers. It's very huge packages. Even many other companies, right? They're offering high paying jobs for this data engineers. Same way, you need to show your, so command, you need to have command on this, right? Yes. So in brief, in depth, I'll be discussing, I said, right? So the total, there are 4 courses in this Data Factory, Databricks, PySpark, Synapse. It will take around 3.5 months. 12,000 is the course fee, right? Yes. Right. So it's a offer batch. Just for 12,000, you'll be getting all this Azure Data Factory, Databricks, PySpark, Synapse, Azure SQL, data, like all these things. Yes. Any other queries, right? Anyone? Right. Okay. I'm done with the queries. If there are no other queries, yes, some query was asked. Are you providing? So you can just check, right? This data engineering jobs, like you can go as a ADF developer, you can go as a Databricks developer, right? Yes. You can go as a ADF developer, Databricks developer, PySpark developer, right? So any of these roles. So I said they have got a huge demand, right, for data engineering. You can see a lot of jobs also available for this. Only thing you need to have command and you can get through the interview process. Yes, that's why we are spending more time with many working examples. Fine. Okay. So if I'm done with the queries, if there are no other queries, signing off for now. Meet you tomorrow, same time at 7 o'clock. Yes, check that the link will be changing. Get enrolled. So from tomorrow, yes, you will be getting the videos to your Google Drive, notes to your email, and a WhatsApp group. Tomorrow you will be added to the WhatsApp groups. Directly you can have interaction if any errors, anything, right? And yeah, thank you all for your time. Thank you.